Alright, welcome back to Dale Kramer's Custom Cars and Anything. Well, today I got the axles back, and so I put one side together already, and I found all kinds of problems. Inline tube doesn't give you torque specs, the bushings are too big. Um, so when I go through this, I'm going to show you this, okay? At least that's what it was on the other side. Let's see what it is on this side. I'm going to assume it's going to be the same darn thing because we use green bearings, same housing ends, whatever. So I'm going to think that it's consistent. So, okay, let's start assembly. First of all, well, here, let's see. Does this help? Yeah, sort of. Anyway, obviously I got to have problems right now again, so let's just, let's do that. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so I put a little grease on the inside axle seal. Okay. Then over on the axle there, I'll show you in a bit. I put wheel bearing grease on that all. It's kind of like a prelude type of thing. Now, the kit from Inline Tube came with these studs. Well, no, I bought these studs separate. They came with other studs, but these I bought separate. They don't push in like the stock ones did. They're not knurled, or nothing. So we'll put them in. Okay. Then what we're going to do next is that steel or carbon or fiber gasket has to go on first. You don't have to put no sealer on that, okay? You'll see why in a little bit. Then, now this plate from Inline Tube takes the place of the backing plate that used to be on here for the drum brakes. So that takes the thickness of that, okay? So we're going to make sure we put that on next. Okay, now here's the part you don't have to do, but I did it anyway. I bought the foam seal from DMT, the foam gaskets, and I'm gonna put it on there, okay? Because what it does for me is it helps retain these studs that aren't pressed in. Kind of helps retain that, okay? So that's what you do, and then I've already pre-assembled this whole caliper mount and everything, and and you had to select the holes, and stuff, and so then that'll go on next. Okay. We'll be taking this back apart. This can't be together, but let's get this mounted, and let's. Oh, I'm doing it wrong already. I'm sorry. I gotta put the axle in next. So here we go. So now I've installed, on those other videos, I've installed the green bearings. Then I sent them off to Dutchman Axles, and they did a really nice job of cutting and respining them for me. Really good. Okay. And then I pre-lubed where this seal is going to be rotating right here. Okay. Now, on these, they got an O-ring on there. Okay. So what we got to do is, I thought I had enough sealer on it, but I guess I don't. Or enough grease. Pardon me. I'm talking out of my buttocks tonight. I gotta get some more on there. So anyway, I just use a little bit of this, stuff here. And what I do is, this is an O-ring. Let's see, can you see that? Okay, yeah. This is an O-ring here, okay? So you don't put no silicone on this stuff, okay? Because you got this O-ring and you got that seal in there. If fluid shall start coming out, then that inner axle seal is going to be bad, okay? So what I do is I put a little bit of, just put some grease on that O-ring, Okay, and then make sure you put grease on where the seal rotates. And now I'm going to put just a little bit of seal in here, or what am I saying, seal? I mean grease. Put some grease on this stuff so it slides in. Okay? And then, now the crucial part about this all is going to be, I'm putting a little bit of grease on those splines. I don't have to, but I'm going to, just a tidbit. Now the crucial part is when you put this axle in, you don't damage that inner axle seal. Okay? And they make a tool for that, you know, but all I got for tools is right here in my hands. Okay? I'm a simple guy, but I use my common sense. Okay, see, look at that nice job they did to that. Well, let's hope it fits. I haven't pre-tested this side. So now I'm trying to keep the weight of the axle as much as I can off that seal, but yet at the same time, I'm trying to feel it out where it is. Okay. Okay, it feels about right. Okay. And then, let's see if I can't see. But this flat area here, always follow the axle end flange, or the tube flange there, you know. Okay, so it felt like it went in there. Now I'm just going to tap it in there. Okay, perfect. That's good enough. Then, let's see. I suppose you can't see this now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm rotating the axle bearing flange. I'm rotating it so the flat areas, the flat, like half moon, is all the same. Matches up, you know. Now what we're going to do, we're going to throw this on and line up the holes here. You can see I already made marks here, you know, where it's got to go. So right here you can see them. So we got to take this back apart anyway, but I want to do that one because okay, you know, it kind of sucks when you don't have stationary studs like the factory did. But just keep working with it and you'll find it. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, I did. Okay. So they want this actually mounted. Obviously, this axle's tipped down, you know, but like on the passenger side, it would be at like a 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock position, you know. Now we can put all of our axle flange bolts in here, or nuts, pardon me. God, I'm just talking wrong. Ouch. Let's see. Now, in that book for inline tube, let's see, I wonder if I can move this a little bit so you can see better. See what I'm doing here. Okay, that's good. The light just turned in. All that. It's not going to sit there. I guarantee it already. All I can do is try. Okay. So you can see now we got the fiber gaskets on first. Then that plate that takes care of takes the placement of the old backing plate. And then I put these foam fibers on. These foam fibers were actually only intended to keep the brake dust away from the bearing, okay? And we got sealed bearings in here now because we're running green bearings. You don't need that, okay? But I put it in there anyway because I had them, you know? So I just put them in there. Why not if you got them, right? So now what we're gonna do is let's see, we're lining things up here. Oh, am I way off there? Holy cow. How did I do that? Okay. There we go. Let's pop through. That one's popped through. Perfect. There should be five. Five total. This one. So what we'll do, since I got this all started, we gotta take that off anyway. Why not just do it now? Because I gotta get them in there. Because we gotta work away from the axle flange to the brakes. Okay? So, can you still see what I'm doing? Probably not. Okay. So I'll take these caliper retaining sliders bolts out so we can pull the caliper back off. See, the reason why I left the caliper on there was because I had this all together and there's so many bolt holes and and they show pictures, but it's not specific pictures. The camera could have been at an angle so you could actually see what holes that they're going through. And it doesn't explain that, guys. I could be an engineer for inline tube. They got good quality products, inline tube, but I think they got to do some engineering on this. On this a little bit. Okay, so we'll just set that off to the side for now. Now we can get to everything here. We can tighten this all up. So what we're gonna do, now, there's a big hole in your flange where the socket fits through, you know, so you can get to them. So what we're going to do now, and by the way, this video lasts for half hour, and if we run out, there'll be another episode. It'll continue recording, but it stops at half hour and then it starts a new record. So this might be, you know, you may have to go back on. I'll just warn you right now that it might switch it over to that, you know what I mean? So now we'll turn this. Does look pretty cool though. So there's a couple things with this kit, you know, it's expensive, you know, but yet I wish it was a little better quality. Let's see. Can you see that, how that's working? We're a little high, ain't we? Let's see once if we can get it down. There we go, maybe. You can see how it pulled that axle in. No, I'm not knocking inline tube. It's just, um, I wonder if they take that special case if it was Chevy or Ford. You know what I mean? Us Mopar guys always seem like we're kind of last, but yet our stuff is, the Hemi stuff and all that is worth a lot of money. Or Stellantis would back off on their royalties when you make a part for their Hemis. That's why the Hemi stuff is so darn expensive, is because the royalty fees they gotta pay Stellantis if you want to make a part for their car. Where Chevy and Ford doesn't charge that much. But they might have to now with that strike, you know. But I don't know that. All right, now we got to torque them at 35 foot-pounds. It doesn't say it in that. Doesn't say it in the book here. I had to go online and figure that one out. So we'll brace ourselves up here somehow. I got the torque wrench set at 35. The other side I had, it was easier to deal with, but I wonder if I can hold this a little bit easier than what I'm doing. I don't know. The other side it was easier, but this side it seems to be, well, that's going to turn if I grab it there. Yeah, I want just a little bit more. It's only 35 foot-pounds. I think I'm going about 36 or 37. Because I go just a little past. I can feel the bolt stopping, the nuts, you know, on the bolt. Oh, okay, that's gonna suck. Now we're going to go around them one more time again. This one here has to be torqued yet, I think. Or maybe not. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, axle's installed. Okay, what are we at here? We're at 19 minutes, so that means about 10 minutes it's going to start recording the second half of this. Okay, now I found out. Let me go grab the other rotor. So here's the rotor. Okay. And then what I did on the other side is I put 2 wheel nuts on it like this. What you want to do is just snug them up. You don't have to tighten them, just have them snug. You can use at least 2, but 3, 4, 5, whatever you want to do. I don't think you got to go that drastic. I think 2 is good enough. And then you can rotate it. Make sure it's running straight. Okay, which it is. It's running great. But now here's the problem I found out on the other side. I had a problem trying to put this caliper on, because the offset in bushings, let's see if I can get you to see what I'm seeing here. I'm going to move the camera over here. It's on the tripod. Okay. You see these bushings here? They're about roughly maybe 3/16 too big, too long. So they should be shortened, you know. Because what happens is the caliper was too far this way. So now in order to do that, you got to bring this caliper mount, you know, this black piece right here. Let's see. This black caliper mount right here has to be brought this way so the caliper fits on here like this. Okay? And now I see I got the same problem on this side. So what I came up with, a temporary solution. These grade 8, you know, 5/8 shank size, you know. Well, nuts, I should say, or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I came with, you know, they fit over the 3/8 shank bolt, you know. So what are they, 1/2 inch? I believe that would be 1/2 inch hole, right? Okay, so anyway, so I took these bushings out on the other side, and I take the camera apart here and walk it over there, but I don't want to mess it up right now. But you'll see. So what I have to do now is, then I found out there's a bolt. I don't know if you can see it. You know, all the bolts they show, they run this way. There's 4 of them here. There's 1 here, 1 here, 2 down here. But later on, I'll take you for a tour with the camera, and I'll show you that. And I found out that this one was too long then, because then it would hit the inside the rotor. So then I had to find so I found a grade 8 bolt to take the place of that. But I'll show you that later. I'll take you on a tour. But so now what we got to do is we got to take the rotor back off, and then I got to take these bushings out and replace them with these nuts, these grade 8 nuts. Okay, that later on when I put this thing together, final assembly, I'm going to keep these, and I'm going to take them to a machine shop and just have them, you know, carve it off of there, you know. So I don't know why I got to re-engineer the wheel. It's a lot of money for this kit, you know. So now I found out that ain't going to work again on this side, just like the other side. And there's nothing to do with narrowing the housing, because these axle ends are the same. They're 8 3/4 axle ends. So, and then the green bearings have the same offset, so it's got to be in the kit. I don't know what they engineered or who took the measurements, but it's just the bushings are too long, you know. And the caliper has to float because it's a floating caliper. So let's pull this back off. Now this was the reason why I wanted this all mounted on here right now. Okay, was because now I can work with this. You know, this is mounted. And these are torqued now, but not these. And I found out in the manual it doesn't say anything how much you got to torque these for the caliper mount. But I figured it out. I took a torque wrench to them until I almost feel them stop and then back off. And those are also 35 foot-pounds. Because with the stress test with the torque wrench, I found out that 35 foot-pounds is the way to go. So now, we got to take the caliper bracket just loose. We don't have to take it totally off, you know. I'm going to take it loose. Just as soon as I find all my gear here. Yeah, it just sucks. This is so nice, but I don't have a machine shop here. I'm limited, you know. So what I did is I spun these all loose on the caliper mount. Oh, ouch. That sucks. Okay. Because these I just got, you know, just snug and they're not tight. Oh, darn it. I keep blowing my fingers apart here. I mean, these grade 8 nuts, you could probably leave them in there, you know. And if I had my way, I wouldn't use grade 5 bolts on this either. I'd use all grade 8 shit. They got grade 5 on here. But there's 4 of them. 3/8 shank, 9/16 head. So yeah, I would think that would hold it, but if you can go bigger and better, why not, right? So what we're going to do now, okay, just loosen that up like that. Then we take one nut off at a time here. Slide the bolt over and pull that bushing that's too big out, and then slide my 1/2 inch shank bolts in there, or nuts, pardon me. God darn it, what the heck's wrong with me? I'm talking out of my buttocks tonight. And then put the nut back on. Do to all 4 of them. But now this one that I had to reverse, and on another video I showed you I had to reverse one. You can't see it right now because it was hitting the deal. Now on that reversed one, now the shank goes too far this way, so now you got to get rid of that bolt and go with a shorter one. Okay, so I still got to reverse the bolt, put that 1/2 inch nut on there again for a spacer, and then put the nut back on. Because what was happening was the shank of the bolt, they want all the bolts to go that way, like this one. But the second one from the top, I had to put it through the opposite way because it was hitting the hose. So whoever figured that out, well, I figured that wrong. Everybody always told me I could be an engineer, but I don't want to. I'm not on this world to hurt anybody, and I'm not gonna. So I'm on this world to catch things, and so you can't see it right now, but I'm doing the same thing what I did here on this bolt and the second one. Getting rid of those spacers that are 3/16 of an inch too long, too wide, whatever you want to call it. See, 3/16 of an inch needs to be taken off of these. Okay? And I looked at every possible way, like, okay, am I doing it wrong? No, I'm not. And because you know how it is, sometimes you run into a road bridge there and you say, roadblock I should say, not a road bridge. And you say, I must be doing it wrong, and then you find out you are. Okay? But here, I've looked at every possibility, and I'm not, so. Now let's tighten this all back up now. We got the 4 spacers out. So these are the 4 spacers I had to take out here. And I put these grade 8 nuts in here. These grade 8 nuts would probably be okay. Just looks kind of dumb. But like I say, this rear end has to be installed and all that, you know, brakes bled, blah, blah, you know, you're building the thing, so that's when I'll correct it. I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and take them to my neighbor that does. But so we can put this together, so I can call this done for now. Let's just put them in together here. No, I didn't take note of what size, how long that shank is of that smaller bolt that I had to use that we were just talking about. I was going to take a measurement of it. I don't like to do it, I don't like to go off the path of those products that you buy because you pay good money, but, well, if it don't work, you got to make it work. Okay, now this is the point when I went in the manual and I looked to see what torque these 4 bolts have to be, and it doesn't say nothing. So what I did is I did a stress test with the torque wrench to see how far they go. When the nut stops like that, then you can, and it was 35. And they're nylock nuts. So when I hear it click, you could feel the torque wrench start to stop, and then I just go. So in all reality, I'm probably torquing on roughly 38 foot-pounds, you know, roughly. But you can feel that. And then double check them. All right. Perfect. Okay. Now we can throw the rotor back on. You want to make sure it fits the eccentric it says in the directions. And it does. It fits mine really well.